Hello there, I'm Mr. Payton, and this video is a summary of the math course orientation we did on Monday, August 24th, the first day of school. I'm going to go through all the slides that I went through in the live orientation. You can click the link of the original orientation to watch it, but there were a few audio issues, and I thought I'd make this so it's shorter, more to the point, fewer audio issues. So I'm going to shut off the camera now and just share my screen with you. All right, here we go. So when we did the live orientation, I wanted to make sure everybody had their audio working correctly and knew, kind of went over the tools a little bit, how to put up the check mark. Let's just move on past this. So in the orientation, the point was to meet your teachers and also get an intro to the math course basics. So on your My Schedule page today, and actually I set this up to be for the entire first week of school, the math course introduction and readiness checkpoint is that's your only math lesson for the week. The course introduction shows you how to navigate through course lesson pages, and the readiness checkpoint is sort of a pre-assessment that allows the computer to gather data on you, on what you know and what you don't know about the stuff we're about to start learning, so that it can adjust the lessons for you. So the rest of this week is mainly map testing. On Tuesday, you should be invited to a math map test, Tuesday the 24th. On Wednesday the 25th, a reading map test. So check your My Schedule page each day for anything else your teachers want you to do. Starting next week, August 31st, we'll start with the normal math lessons. And this is me. I'm Mr. Payton, your main math teacher. I've been married for 9 years to Arlene here. She's a hairstylist. I have a 4-year-old daughter named Beverly. That's her there in the pictures. Our cats, Yuki and Murray, they're 6 or 7 now. I like video games, reading, and skateboarding. This is me in 7th grade around Christmas with my, looks like a Tony Hawk calendar. I started skateboarding again just for like a way to get exercise. If you watched my video introduction that I sent out earlier, I was showing you all the books I've been reading. And you could see my skateboard. I got a Nintendo Switch. I like playing the Switch and PlayStation a little bit. Graduated from Ohio State University. Attended Ashland University for my teaching credentials and studied abroad in Japan at Kobe University. And the only disadvantage of watching this video instead of the live recording, you don't get to actually meet the other teachers, but Mr. Racky has been teaching with me for the last few years. He's great. We started at OHV at the same time, although he took a year off to teach somewhere else. So he helps out as like co-teacher, my little sidekick in math, in the class connects, and sometimes he'll run his own breakout room. And he helped me a lot. He helped me work on my house this summer a bit. He's really good. He used to be a tool and die maker. He's really good with tools and building stuff. And this is his family. He's got some adult children, and he's been married for 24 years. And then Mrs. Kreider and Mrs. Smith are our intervention specialists. Mrs. Kreider's great. She's like a Lego fanatic. She loves Legos, and can learn more about her if you come to class and talk with her. Mrs. Smith, she just had a new baby last year, so she's got a baby who's only 6 months old, and a 4-year-old son, and she's great as well. Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Kreider are the intervention specialists. They work with some of the students and sometimes have their own breakout rooms going in our class connects to work with the students who they're assigned to. And tech tips. You know, if you're ever having issues, K-12 has a tech support number you can call. It's this number here. And, you know, if you Google K-12 tech support, that'll come right up. But something that happens a lot is pages sometimes won't load correctly. If you hold down Control, Shift, and Delete on your computer, it brings up a menu while you're on a web browser. It brings up a menu from which you can clear your cache, and that often fixes the problem. Like this menu comes up if you do it in Chrome, and if you clear your cookies and your cached images and then reload the web page, your lessons should then load up correctly. So the shortcut to get to that is Control Shift Delete. Hold those all down, or you can get to it through the web browser menus as well. And there's a reminder here about working in the student account. I'll mention that a couple times. You have to be in the student account, not the Learning Coach account. If you're not sure how to make a student account in the Learning Coach account, go to My Info and then click on the student name, and you can set up a student login and password. You log in from the same screen, same as the Learning Coach. But in order to get check marks to get your lessons to show completed, you need to be into the student account. Sorry, this is a little error that comes up for me. I just got to click it away. You guys all should have an email in your inbox from me. In fact, I think I'm going to email this video out to everybody. So just reply to that to email me. I also have a phone and a phone number here. All the OHVA students are at this number with their own special extension. My extension is 2504. So when you log in, there's your email, the little envelope. That's your email. Just go to your inbox. If you click on your email and go to inbox, you should be able to see everything there and write and receive messages. And okay, so your daily math routine. Log into the course daily. You click My Schedule. Your My Schedule page is where you should start with everything. On your My Schedule page, you'll get links to the lessons your teachers want you to do and the Class Connect. So with math, the thing you just got to be careful of is when you're assigned a lesson, all pages have to be viewed, and you have to get check marks for viewing the pages in order to unlock the quiz. And most lessons have quizzes, not all of them. And in our Class Connect, they are Monday through Thursday. The main Class Connects are Monday through Thursday, 9 to 10:30. That doesn't mean you'll always be there till 10:30. We have the Class Connect sort of divided up into a couple different parts. You might get the opportunity to leave a lot earlier than that. You might be staying late to get as much help as possible from the teachers. Then everybody's out of there at about 10:25, so you at least get a break before your English class. But this is where we tear apart the lesson. We discuss it, analyze it, explain it. Mr. Racky and I will maybe give you our take on it. It might be different than the way it's sort of presented in the K-12 lesson pages. And we go through a bunch of examples together. So this is where you can really interact with the other students and the teachers and get a good summary of the lesson, which will make it easier for you to get through on your own. You still need to get through all the pages of the lesson on your own. Be on time, because if you're over 25 minutes late, you might not be able to get into the room. We usually lock the room after 25 minutes. You can get there a little bit early if you want to chat with your friends, other students in class. The Class Connects, there are some special Class Connects that you might be invited to based on quiz scores. Small group or one-on-one classes in the afternoons and on Fridays. If you're having trouble passing a quiz, you might get invited to those and get your quiz marked passed if you attend. So check your emails and check your My Schedule page for any special classes that you might have been invited to. And like I said, the extra classes they're usually based on quiz scores. So you have to pass your quizzes in math in order to get to the unit tests in each unit. And so the quizzes are all worth 5 points, and minimum passing grade is 3 out of 5. If you have to miss the required Class Connects, well, if you have to miss a couple of them here and there, the occasional session, it's not a huge deal. I understand. And sometimes you have tech issues. You're always going to get an email from me afterward with information about what we did in class and a reminder on where to find the resources like the recording and the slides from that class. But if you're missing a lot of classes, that could be a problem because these are required classes. We should come up with a plan. If for some reason or another you have to miss a lot of classes, contact your advocate and me and your other teachers in order to come up with a plan to keep you on track. Math zones are optional Class Connects where you can drop in to get help with the problems you're having. We have these on Wednesdays at 3:30, Fridays at 1. And if you're struggling with passing a quiz, if you come to the zone and work on quiz questions with me and Mr. Racky, we can mark that quiz as passed for you or add retries so you can pass it on your own with a better grade than the minimum 3 out of 5. Our Class Connect expectations: while we're live in session, please respect the classroom by participating in every way possible. That means using the tools to try to answer the questions, raising your hand, using the chat box, whatever it is we're doing. I'm not going to make everybody take the mic and talk all the time. There's multiple different ways of participating. We use the multiple choice tools a lot and the chat box a lot. And be prepared. Pay attention and take notes in your math notebook. I've emailed you a copy of the syllabus. A lot of the stuff from the orientation here is from the syllabus, but the syllabus itself fully explains all the ins and outs of the math course. Part of your course supplies is the 6th grade math OneNote. This is like a virtual notebook, which we'll be adding a page to after every class. After every new lesson, every new class connect, the OneNote will get a new page, which will have extra resources you can go to for that topic. It'll have all the slides from the class connect. It'll have anything I could think of that can help you with that lesson that's outside of the normal lesson pages. You'll need a notebook, just a regular notebook, like the one I showed you in my intro video, just for taking notes by hand. If you get a couple good examples by hand in your own notes, it's really going to help you memorize this stuff and learn it. The math folder, if you right-click on your computer desktop background and do create a new folder, that's where you can save, like if you want to save stuff from the OneNotes, like your own copies of the slides, or our unit test part 2 assignments, which are like Word documents that you'll write on and then turn into me. That can all be saved in a folder on your computer, the math folder. And you should have one for every subject. Okay, math reference guide. This is the hardback book you got with your math course. It's the only book that came with the course. There's a virtual version of this as well in the OneNote and in the course itself. A calculator. In 6th grade, there's a lot of stuff we do with a calculator. Like when you take the state test, there'll be a calculator section and a non-calculator section. There's a calculator I recommend. If in the syllabus, that's a live link, you can click it to get to, I think maybe like the Amazon page where you can buy that calculator. But there's a virtual one we use a lot as well. And within the math course itself, when we do stuff that allows you to use a calculator, you'll be given a calculator there that you can click on and use. If you've been with OHVA for a while and have been to our elementary school, I want you to just know how the lessons differ. And this might have changed this year in elementary school, but it used to be like in elementary, it would just park you wherever you left off with lessons. Like you could take a week off and come back, and it would just, you pick up right where you left off. So you didn't have much of a chance of accidentally skipping a lesson. But now in middle school, you have a high chance of skipping a lesson if you don't know what you're doing. Like the teachers put the lessons they want you to do on your My Schedule page each day, and if you're sick a day or you have to miss a day and you log in the next day, you're going to get the next lesson. And there's not sometimes it's hard to realize. I'm sorry. Sometimes it's easy to overlook a lesson. You don't get like an overdue notice just for not completing lesson pages. The only time you get an overdue notice is if it's a graded item, like a quiz or some sort of assignment that's not turned in. And in math, you have to be especially careful because those graded items don't even open for you unless you do the lesson pages. So you can always go back on the My Schedule page. You can go back to whatever day throughout the school year. You can click to any day you want and see what was assigned that day, and you can check and see if you've got it done. So pay attention to those overdue notices when you get them. There are some alternative types of overdue notices that I make for people in the math course if lessons are being skipped. So be sure to read those overdue notices. It's either going to be linked directly to a quiz saying, hey, this quiz is open, but you haven't taken it yet. It was due last week or whenever. But there'll be a lot from me that are all just like messages saying, hey, you haven't done these lesson pages and unlocked this quiz, so be sure to get that done. So the other thing about our quizzes, they close 2 weeks after the unit test, or we'll be doing it 2 weeks from the next Friday from the unit test. So sometimes it'll actually be a little bit over 2 weeks. But essentially that means like after the unit test, we're starting the next unit. And I don't want people to be lingering in the previous unit for too long. So this is your overtime. This is your extra time that you have to wrap up a previous unit before you're sort of forced to move on to the current unit. Because ideally I want you doing the quizzes and trying to pass the quizzes the same day they're assigned, the same day we're talking about them in the Class Connect. So try to get your work done on time and pay special attention to overdue notices. And we just have to wrap up the units 2 weeks after each unit test. Students must work in the student account, not the Learning Coach account. If you're in the Learning Coach account, you can go to Student View and you can see everything, all the lessons, and everything the student would see. However, you cannot earn check marks for completing the lesson pages. So the Student View is it's meant for the Learning Coach to check work. It's not meant for the student to work through, because you will not get credit. You won't get check marks for completing the lesson pages. And so in math, that means you'll never even open up the quizzes. So you got to be in a student account. You can, if you're not sure how to get into your student account, reach out to your advocate. Or I can tell you right now, the easiest thing to do is just go in the Learning Coach account, go to My Info, and click on the student name. There you can set up the student login and password, and then just use that. This is what the launch page looks like. You might have a different picture here, and you could change the picture with the little icon in the bottom right. But the My Schedule page is what you should click. Click My Schedule to see what your teachers want you to do each day and what class connects are going on. The classes link will give you links right to the classes, but you can get to those through the My Schedule page. And the announcements here, these are like the general all school announcements. They're not the announcements from me and your other teachers, and they're not as important as our announcements, which can only be found on our course homepages. So really, you should just click My Schedule after you log in and forget about these other two links. Because once you click My Schedule, you can click, if you click over into the classes here, that's the same as the classes link. What was I going to say? So yeah, direct link to the course pages where you can see the course announcements and you can browse around all the open lessons and stuff. That's if you click into the course links here. But under assignments, this is where your teachers have the assignments they want you to do that day. You can click right into the lessons. If you see a quiz next to a lesson, you won't normally see that at first with math because you got to do your lesson pages before the quiz will show up. But in some other courses, it's not like that. You might see a lesson and then a quiz link right there. Be sure you're not clicking right into the quiz and quizzing yourself on something that you didn't do the lesson for yet, okay? Because the quizzes usually come at the ends of lessons. Class Connect links can be over on the right, or depending on how you have your page oriented, they could be down below. And these links turn into the links for recordings after class is over, and we'll also have all the recordings in our 6th grade math OneNote. If you click on a math lesson from the My Schedule page, a pop-up will come up and show you all the different parts of the math lesson. You want to get these all checked off. When you're done with start at the top, you got to go through all pages of the math lessons and get them all checked off to see the quiz and take the quiz. So don't try to skip around. Like, even if you come to the Class Connect and you really know what you're doing, you still need to click through all the pages. You might be able to get through the first part much more quickly though if you took away a lot of info from the Class Connect. Now when you click into the course homepage, that's like if you were to click the math link right there, then you can see this and you can navigate around all over the math course. The class homepage is, if you scroll down a little bit, we have the announcements. I'll update this like every Monday. It'll have the link to our OneNote. It'll have a snapshot of what we're doing that week. Any other news I want to share with you will be in the announcements. All the teachers are going to expect you to check the announcements every week. Also here in, let's see, if we go down to, if you click content, this is where you can see exactly what you've done or haven't done, and you can navigate around whatever's open to you. Like right now in the math course, you'll be able to see the course resources folder, course introduction and readiness checkpoint, like that's your assignment for the first week. And then unit 3 decimals. I have the whole unit open and we're going to get started. These lessons are going to start being assigned August 31st, but you can still explore these lessons and get a head start. Any number you see here stands for an unviewed lesson pages. So this student has done the course intro and readiness checkpoint, but has not done the first decimals lesson. And you could tell because all those those are numbers there. And also these little gray dots, they would turn into check marks. At the end of it, this is a screenshot of a quiz. Like the last thing in most of the lessons, there's a quiz. When you, oh, I got a better, yeah, let me just go to this page. Here is a screenshot of the student who's done all the pages of the unit, the first decimals lesson, and has gotten to the quiz. And the quizzes won't be there until all the pages are done. So with our quizzes, now they are open book. Okay, you can use your notes, you can use the lesson pages, you can use stuff from the OneNote. That doesn't mean you can just ask somebody to solve the problems for you, but you can use reference materials like the Math Reference Guide. When you click on the quiz, you'll go through the questions. It's 5 questions, and when you finish it, you'll get your score. If you get at least a 3 out of 5, you pass the quiz. Ideally, you get like a 4 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5. But if you don't get at least a 3 out of 5 on your first attempt, you should review the quiz. If you click that review button, it'll show you what you got wrong and what the correct answers were for those problems you got wrong. And you can use that as a study aid in order to do better the next time. You have to pass all of your quizzes in each of our units in order to unlock the unit test. We don't let you take the unit test unless you pass the quizzes. So what do you do? What happens if you've used all your retries and you still can't pass the quiz? Well, if you email me, I can add another retry. I'm always willing to give an extra retry, but I'm going to want to work with you to try to help you. Okay, we've got math zones that you can come to, and depending on the timing of it, like I do small group. Oh, that's not on this page. Where is it? I got that on the next page. Well, okay, let me talk about the corrections first. You're allowed to correct your quiz questions. When you review a quiz, you'll see what the right answers were for the ones you missed. So you can't just give me the right answer and say, hey, I corrected it. Here's the right answer. What you have to do is go back to the questions you want to correct, take a screenshot of it using the snipping tool. And I have info on how to use the snipping tool in the OneNote. You'll have to fully show your work and explain what you did in a Word document and then email it to me. And I'll give you the point, or however many questions you correct, I'll give you the points back, so your grade will change, and then you can move on to the next thing. So I accept if you're having trouble following these steps, if you're ready to make corrections, please email me. I mean, I could talk you through this in more detail, but we all have Microsoft Word. We have the Office 365 package, so you can write it up in that, write up your corrections in that, put screenshots in that, just email me a Word file. But the small group class connects here. Like I'll be inviting people to extra small group class connects based on quiz scores. So I expect you to try to study between the retries. Come to the class connects. Come to the class connects. Ask questions, participate. If you don't do well on a quiz, study between retries, look back over the class slides, look back over the lesson slides, do anything you could possibly do on your own. But then if you still haven't passed it by the time I'm inviting you to a small group session, you come to a small group session and we'll focus in on it, and you'll at least get a passing grade for attending that. Or the math zone, you could pop in. We already talked about the math zone a little bit. You could come by. You could copy and paste problems you're struggling with. You can at least get a passing grade for coming to work with me in the math zone. And if you come work with me in a small group or a math zone, I will also add an extra retry for you, so you could try to get something better than just a passing grade. Check the course announcements. Really, the main thing I want you to see from course announcements is a OneNote link, and I'll probably give this to you so many times throughout the year. You won't even need to get it from course announcements anymore. It's a live link in the syllabus. If you go back to my intro, my welcome email, and check the syllabus, and you could click into the OneNote from there. Email me screenshots. If you don't know how to solve a problem, I could make a quick help video for you, or try to explain in an email and send you an email back. And don't forget about your learning coach to ask for help, and your learning coach could also come to me for help. When you're in the math course homepage, if you click on grades, you'll be able to see your math grades. It'll show you all the quizzes and then the unit test, part 1 and part 2 for each unit. The quizzes are 5 points. You'll be able to see what you earned out of 5. As you know, there's really nothing there now as I'm making this video, but we get regular letter grades in the middle school. If you're not doing your quizzes though, if whether they're overdue or if you never unlocked them in the first place because you weren't doing your lesson pages, every Friday I put in zeros in the grade book just to make your grade as accurate as possible. Now those zeros will be temporary zeros, hopefully, because hopefully they'll be replaced by your grade once you take the quiz. So be aware of that. And there'll be feedback there in on the grades page as well that explains it's a temporary zero because you didn't do this quiz. You'll be able to see that written there on the grades page. The grading scale looks like this. The minimum score for passing is a 60%. That would be like a 3 out of 5 on a quiz. And as we're going through the year, the grades are constantly updated, and you'll be able to see how many points you have out of how many possible there at any time if you check the grades page. So learning coaches, to make sure your student is staying on track, check for the check marks. Click into the lesson from the My Schedule page and make sure all the parts of the lesson are checked off. Be on the lookout for overdue notices. It looks like a little number next to your My Schedule link. Like if you go back to, like here, if you see a little number next to My Schedule, like right there, that's an overdue notice. It's a quiz that was due but not done yet. But you got to remember, in math, the quizzes don't unlock unless you've done your lesson pages. So I have like a workaround for that. I create a different kind of overdue notice, which is just like a message saying, hey, you haven't done this lesson and therefore have not unlocked the quiz. Or the message will also come up if you still haven't passed the quiz. Like let's say you only got a 2 out of 5 on it. The message will come up as a reminder that you need to get at least a 3 out of 5 in order to complete the unit. Okay, so during the first week of school, I have it set up now so that the course introduction and readiness checkpoint will appear on your plan like the whole first week of school. The course introduction, it's like 8 pages of things to go to. It'll have some example problems to work through. The intention is just to teach you how to use the math course. You don't necessarily have to know how to do those math problems. It'll be samples of stuff that's coming up. And the readiness checkpoint, I think I mentioned how this works. When you click into it, there's a little write-up there that mentions this. The readiness checkpoint's like a quiz that quizzes you on stuff that we're going to learn in the first semester here. And so depending on how you do on that, it gives the computer information on what you know and what you don't know so that it can structure your lesson. So if you need a lot of extra support level like help, like maybe like 5th grade level stuff, it might give you reminders of that stuff within your lessons. So it kind of customizes your lesson pages for you depending on how you do with that. The rest of the first week of school are map assessments. You should have gotten an email from me or another teacher about maps on Tuesday and Wednesday, the 25th and 26th, the first week of school. So just check your My Schedule page for any other assignments or advice on what you can do. If there's no official assignment, this video, the last thing here, I'll be making a video with the complete syllabus read through, and we'll post it. I'm gonna make a video like this where I go through the entire syllabus. I think I'll put it on your plan sometime during the first week of school, just to make sure everybody reads through the syllabus. And then the last page, we just took some questions. So if you want to go back and watch the actual live Class Connect, go to your My Schedule page. Go to I'm not going to put the link in here because I want you to watch this instead. But in the live session, you can hear Mr. Racky and Mrs. Kreider and Mrs. Smith talking, and you can. I believe I left the recording on for a little while for some of these questions and answers, but it went a little bit longer than a half hour. It was like a full hour long, and the audio quality is not as good because I was using the wrong microphone. So sorry about that. That's sort of why I made this video instead. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions at this point, reach out to me via phone or email. Okay, my phone number and email are here in the email in which I'm sending this. So I'm going to sign off for now, and hope to talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.